Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing phenomenal and you got everything written down that you need to. I'm so excited to be with you. Let me see if I can get this thing a little more even. Hey, so it's great to be with you. I don't think we have any big announcements today to share or anything, and so we're going to jump right into it. But I've got to give waves to the people on video. Rick Bentley, June Foucault, the great, the legend, June Foucault. It's great to see you guys. Thank you for showing yourselves. Ooh, I see someone else there. Ellen. Ellen is doing it too. We love seeing videos, guys. It means you're getting up and getting after it. So thank you so much. Hey, so I have some fun stuff that I want to share with you this morning, and basically just a story from my life that was an eye-opener to me and something that I hope that you can relate to. So in 2006, my wife invited me and wanted to. She speaks Portuguese. She lived in Brazil for a couple of years, and so she had an opportunity to go to Mozambique, Africa. And in Mozambique, Africa, they speak Portuguese as well. And so it was an opportunity for a study abroad, and we were going to go be there. We were going to meet with some great artists there, some poets, government people. I mean, it was a really neat opportunity. But the part that got me so excited, because look, I didn't speak Portuguese and it was going to be a foreign land and had to take work off for 3 months or whatever. I mean, it was quite a large undertaking. But one thing that I was excited about was we were going to go to a game park. We were going to go into a place called Kruger National Park. If you've never heard of it, you should look it up and put it on your bucket list because it's amazing. Kruger National Park is this big, gigantic, like, Yellowstone on triple doses of steroids, because you're not looking for wolves and buffalo and elk. You are looking for lions. You're looking for crocodiles and cheetahs and leopards and all that good stuff. In fact, you're looking for the big five. The big five were the 5 animals that hunters, like the trophy animals, that hunters were after the very most. So the 5 animals are, boy, if I was in a room with you, I'd have you guess. But the 5 animals are a leopard, a rhinoceros, a water buffalo, an elephant, and a lion. Those were the 5 animals you wanted to see. So we learned about the big 5 immediately when we went to the game park. And it was very early on in our trip to Africa. And basically it was like I was telling myself, like, we're going to find the big 5. I was committed to it. We were going to be going on these cool rides where we'd go at night and we'd have a spotlight. Anyway, just an amazing experience all around. But I've got some photos that I want to show you. So let's see, Russ, I think I need to hit share content, share screen. Let's see if this works. Huh. Okay, it's starting. It's on. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. Thank you, Russ. Okay. Don't peek early on the photos. Okay, there you go. Russ, can you just confirm you can see this photo? Sorry.
Yep, we can.
All right, guys. So this is Africa. And what would be Africa without that gigantic man-eating crocodile across this little waterway? And there are crocodiles lined up all over this photo. You can't really see them all, and it's zoomed in on that one. But just amazing what this experience was. And you see crocodiles all over the place. And then, of course, we got to see some elephants, which was amazing. And look, and there is a point to all this. I know you're like, this is not family vacation photo morning for Jeremy, although it's kind of fun to do that as well. We've got a monkey hanging out, a big family, and actually this big giant one right here, she turned around on the road and kind of charged our vehicle. That was fun. The biggest, scariest birds you'll ever see in your life were in the middle of the road. They are huge. And then a wildebeest. Okay, then we get into these night rides. So listen, I didn't get photos of everything on this little thing, but basically we had seen everything now. We'd seen the water buffalo, we'd seen the leopard, we had seen the rhinoceros and an elephant. And the last thing we wanted to see was a lion. And look, for me, guys, I only wanted to see a lion. I could have done away with everything else and only seen the lion, but you just can't guarantee. So this was our final night ride. We did 2 or 3 when we were there. And you go around with this spotlight, and you can see the spotlight on this hyena right here. And you kind of just look for eyes. So every once in a while, you'll see a set of eyes, and you'll say, the eyes will be glowing, and you'll say, stop. And you back up, and you shine it, and you discover what it is. So like on this particular night ride, we found a rhinoceros that way. We found a big herd of zebras. And I'll show you another cool picture of something that we saw there. And again, this is 2006, and I was taking most of these photos, so they're horrible. But, you know, they're documented, so it's all good. This is actually a baby hyena. It was like the parents had gone out hunting or something, and there were several of these little tiny hyenas. Actually, it looks kind of cute there. Okay, this one was a cool one. I see these 2 eyes up in the air, and then sure enough, check out what you've got. This I think it's called a serval. This animal, and you can see its tail kind of floating down in the air there. Very cool. Oh, shoot, I just ruined the whole story, but boom, there you go. You can see I've got the lion there. So we waited all night long, and we were chasing for a lion, couldn't find it. And at the end of the night, we got to a point where it was like, okay, we're not going to be able to see a lion. However, let's take a look at what the solar system and the stars and all of that stuff look like from the southern hemisphere. So we were able to see some constellations like the Southern Cross and things. And we turned the lights all the way off. You're in the middle of the African safari, so you can't see anything. It's just pitch black. And the stars are actually very bright and very cool experience. But I was so disappointed that we hadn't been able to see a lion yet. Sure enough, he turns the car on, the guide, drives about 100 yards, and boom, this lion is walking down the side of the road. And I mean, cool. Imagine in our position, not just seeing a lion, but seeing this lion even. It was a massive, big old mane, and it hung around us for about, it was a total of 30 seconds or something. But and everybody was just in shock. This was literally the only photo that we got from the whole entire lion experience, because we were so thankfully caught up in just having the experience. But here's the point. Here I was in the middle of Africa. I'm going to go back to Zoom now and stop sharing my screen. I hope I did that right. Very cool. I hope that, that's kind of fun to see those pictures. And that was something that I experienced. But here's the deal, guys. I was in the middle of in Africa, once in a lifetime opportunity, and having a great time. This was like early on in the trip. We'd been running all over the city of Maputo, Mozambique. We went on this trip to Africa. And then after a week or so, I found myself in the middle of the day reading the Da Vinci Code, which was really popular at the time. Reading a stupid murder mystery novel while I'm in Africa for the one and only chance of my life. And in the middle of the day, I'm reading this book. And I do this to show you the total contrast of like early on in my trip when I first got there. It's like so many exciting things. I've got other fun pictures I could show you as well. I got to play, it doesn't matter. Just fun. And then all of a sudden, what started to happen? Well, what started to happen is what Tony Robbins refers to as the law of familiarity. The law of familiarity, in its most basic sense, states that you can become familiar with or anything that you're around long enough. You could say anyone, anything, any experience, anything that you're experiencing long enough, you begin to take it for granted. And what that means is you start to appreciate. Look, I was, again, in Africa, and I stopped to appreciate that this was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, that this was something I'd likely never do again. And the list goes on and on. And so that's why I'm reading a novel in the middle of the day. And what I realized, and I'll never forget, it didn't take me long to remember, but I remember just kind of sitting up in the bed and being like, whoa, what am I doing? Because I had forgotten my opportunity. I was starting to take it for granted, and the law of familiarity crept in. Think for a moment in your own lives for a second. Have you ever experienced the law of familiarity? Have you ever been experiencing something? It might be a relationship, someone you love. It might be an experience you're having. You know, for example, have you ever been like on vacation, at a hotel, at Disneyland? You've got a swimming pool, the ocean, and whatever else, and you're sitting inside watching television, right? Or you're out doing something fun, and maybe with the family or whatever, and you're sitting on your phone. That's what the law of familiarity states. And we are so often guilty, all of us, I think, of forgetting our opportunity. And so that's why I share all of those pictures and things. Is I had this moment in Africa where I, thankfully it was early on and stuff, I kind of woke up to the fact that this is my one chance. I cannot take it for granted. I must enjoy and have a cool experience. And I did. I went on to do some really neat stuff where we got to meet a ton of people, travel all across the city. I got to actually play a guitar and sing on the radio of Mozambique. Rick Bentley would like that. Kind of a cool thing. Just a lot of really neat stuff. And the experience was one that, of course, I'll never, ever in my life forget. But I want you to stop for a moment and think about the opportunity that you have at your fingertips today. If you were to go back in time and say, why did I get into real estate? What was it that caused me to be in the real estate business right now? Go back to that time in your life when you decided, I'm going to get my real estate license. If you could sort of walk back in time and watch yourself right now, what were the emotions that you were experiencing? What was the hope? What was the dream? What would you have told yourself? I know for me, I was working at a call center. I was on the phone for 7.5 to 8 hours every single day, almost nonstop. And I was selling things to people. And I'll never forget sitting there at one point, and I was doing these balance transfers. So you take a balance from one card and put it on another at a lower interest rate, maybe. And I remember sitting there on the phone and being like, God, how cool would it be if I made a phone call and that phone call put $7,000 in my pocket? That was what was going through my mind. So if I could go back and talk to Jeremy, 13, 14 years ago, that's what I'd be looking at. I'd be looking at a guy that said, oh man, I'd do anything to not have to come and punch in and clock in and have PTO and worry about being 4 minutes late to my job because I'm going to miss it, and never be able to go to the kids' game if I want because I had a set schedule. Look, and some of this stuff, you guys, it's stuff that we talk about and we learn about. Well, yeah, you still have to act like this is a job and all that. But again, going back to what my hopes, what my dreams were as someone, I believe, because over the years, I've loved asking the question to others, why did you get into real estate? What was your life like before? And your stories generally align pretty closely with the story I'm sharing from me. I wanted this world where I could depend upon myself and build something. I wanted the opportunity to be able to create freedom and flexibility, to create financial independence. And the list goes on. And I felt at the time I couldn't accomplish that in my current situation. So again, that phrase that I said, I would do anything. So then I counteract that with, then you become a real estate agent. Then you get familiar with how to close a deal. Maybe you close your first deal. Maybe you put your first deal under contract. And what happens? Well, at least at some level, the law of familiarity begins to creep into our lives as agents. And what we do is we start to take for granted the opportunity that's placed in front of us. We begin to take for granted the ability to build and grow wealth and do multiple transactions and work by objective. And instead, I've seen this happen over and over, and I experienced this early in my career. Instead, all I'm really trying to do is have this job where I have more flexibility and freedom, but I'm trying to match what I got paid at the call center I worked at. Talk about taking for granted an opportunity. Talk about laziness. Talk about working out of crisis and not by objective. And I'm so thankful that I aligned myself with a great group of people. I'm grateful that I aligned myself with a great coach, a great partner who helped motivate me, and I helped motivate him to do good things. Because what that did is it took away the times when that law of familiarity and taking for granted my opportunity, it took it away. Because I had to remember, I'm doing this for something more. What would I tell myself? Now, here's what's so funny. Have you ever asked yourself the question where you say, boy, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? You ever thought about that? What would you go back and tell yourself when you were 15 in high school or junior high? What would you go back and tell yourself again? We all play that game, right? It's funny to think about. Here's an interesting way to look at it. What would your younger self, when you're about to start real estate, what would that person tell you today? What would your person say who the moment you were thinking about signing up for real estate and sacrificed those dollars to become an agent, right? You paid for the school, you paid and passed the test, you paid for your board dues and all of that stuff. You did it, right? If that person was to come and move forward somehow and come visit with you right now and watch the way you're conducting your business, watch the way in which you're keeping and maintaining a schedule or the lack thereof, right? Or the way in which you're building upon your skill set or the lack thereof, what would they say to you? Would they give you a pat in the back and say, hey, look, you did it, great job. You've done better than I thought. Or do you think they might say, hey, maybe shake you a little bit? This isn't what we talked about. This isn't what we decided up here we were going to do. We are capable of more. And guys, the best part is that it doesn't have to be your old self from 20 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years coming to you. It can be yourself from today. I'm diving deep into like Back to the Future world here, okay? I hope you're following me. But the point that I'm saying is you can make a decision right now today about how you're going to live your life, how you are going to work your schedule, build your skill set, reach out to your SOI, prospect daily, follow up, protect and build your mindset, and all of those great things. And you can look back in 1 week and say, what would my 1 week ago self tell me? And they'd say, heck yeah, you're doing it. You did what we said we were going to do. And that's the beauty of this business, is that you get a start and you get a start right now. So today is Monday morning, the middle of June, almost exactly, 15th of June. Every opportunity sits at your fingertips right now to do great things. It becomes your obligation and your opportunity right now to not take it for granted, to not allow the law of familiarity to creep in and bust your dreams up. And for you to be able to just move forward doing the things that you want to do. And here's what I've learned over the years. When you focus on what you want, when you focus on a chief objective, like we talked about in the morning affirmations, when you focus on that definite chief aim in life, you will see great things happen in your daily business, in your work ethic, in your skill building, in everything you're doing. And what I also know is in your results. The results will come your way. And here's what's awesome. Right now is the opportunity to do it. I talk to a lot of agents every single day, and it's been very cool to see all the great stuff happening. And I was talking with some agents recently, and I'm hearing right and left, I've got this deal under contract, this deal under contract. Things are on fire right now. And then I ran into an agent a few days ago, and we talked and said, how you doing? It's just so tough right now. Things are really hard. Things aren't happening. Guys, it's all right here. I promise you. I promise you that if you will engage in the structure of this business, we just shouted it at the beginning of the meeting, the 12 steps to the summit of success. It's the answers to the test right in front of you. If you'll take advantage of that, do it. Follow the skills. Follow the people who are doing great. Engage in the areas that you're able to. You're going to see great things happen. But don't, especially now, allow the law of familiarity to creep in, to allow yourself to take for granted the opportunity that's at your fingertips. Because one day, the Pied Piper will come calling. One day, something else is going to have to change. My experience has been that results in people saying, well, I need to go get a job. And I've said for years, boy, if you just treat this like it's a job, you'll see phenomenal things happen. The wealth will build, the opportunity will build, and you get to live your dream with all the flexibility and freedoms that you want. So I hope for you that this message is as motivating to you as it is for me. The message that you're in control, you can take control right now, today, this morning. Like, hang up this phone and tell yourself, I'm going to talk to 20 people or 30 people before lunch today, period. Nothing's getting in my way. And if you will do that, great things are going to happen. And that's just one step. So guys, I'm so grateful to be with you. Thank you for letting me share a few of the photos. I love that story and I love sharing it. I ruined a little bit today because I pulled the lion picture out early. I'll do better next time, I promise. But you guys, you're amazing. Thanks for being a part of this phone call and the Zoom. I love being able to associate with you and all the great stuff that we're doing. Let's bust out these closing affirmations and go have an amazing day today.